The power of knowing your why. By 2005, I'd built up a hefty roster of colleagues based in Los Angeles that eventually led me to playing the American Idol's live tour with Carrie Underwood. Without having to audition, I got the gig through all of my consistent networking I did while I was on the road with artist Kirk Whalum. Now, I should mention that I started working with Kirk back in Nashville, and we were weekend warriors. We would do maybe 2 or 3 weekends a month, sometimes just one a month, or maybe every other month. The good thing about that is that you can still do your session work and then go get some gigs. Now, when you do those gigs, you have to network. That's what I was doing, collecting names and emails and numbers, which paid off. So, after a very successful run with the American Idols, I was asked to return. Upon considering, I concluded that the pay bump simply wasn't enough for me to leave town again for such an extended period of time. We left, I want to say it was probably something like May through September, something like that. However, I had just moved to LA to pursue a career in film and TV music. So again, I had to keep in mind my original vision. Had I taken this tour, the majority of my time would have been spent on the road instead of in the studio pursuing my original intentions. So in 2006, I declined the offer to go back out with American Idol's Live. Soon after turning down the big tour, I was able to get some work with other artists, which subsidized my income in between recording sessions. These artists had me booked for more convenient fly dates and mini tours, so I found myself in a situation where I was able to do both, light road work on the weekends and studio work during the week. So basically, I was able to reinvent exactly what I was doing in Nashville out here in LA. However, I felt that this was less than ideal. There would be times when I was on the road and I would receive a call for a major film session for which I had no choice but to decline the work. I'm going to be honest with you, this hurt me deeply, and it's true. I was bummed. I remember one time I was on the road with Babyface and I got called by John Powell for a big movie score. I was so bummed out. And I know that sounds like, big time first world problems, right? But still, this is why I say it's so important to stay focused on your original intent and vision. So I'm going to be honest, it hurt me deeply. That FOMO set in, right? Fear of missing out. So when a hit producer like Randy Jackson or a composer virtuoso like John Powell would call for work and I couldn't make it, there were a few times where I got lucky because the producer and composer were flexible and I was able to record remotely with my mobile rig. But that's the exception and not the rule when you're dealing with such high-end productions. Typically, they want you to be in the room with them, This was the situation that had me contemplating as to why I was even doing tour work in the first place, as my main goal was to be doing film and TV sessions. Once again, this is going back to writing your original vision, what you want to do within your heart of hearts, and sticking to it. That's that focus. It's important to keep in mind why you are pursuing a career in music. Everyone's why is different, but whatever your reason is, always keep it at the forefront of your mind when considering any job or gig. If you get an offer to work on a cruise ship for a 9-month contract or to go out with a major label recording artist on tour, ask yourself these important questions. You ready? Number 1, why should I or shouldn't I take this gig? Number 2, how will this benefit me? Number 3, is this in line with my goals? If time allows, really mull it over and sleep on it before giving an answer. Talk it over with a loved one. Due diligence is an integral part of making an informed decision based on the foundation of your why. This is how you're going to avoid putting yourself in compromising positions. Now, let's talk about compromising positions. I've been in many of those before. And when you find yourself either double booked or saying yes to a gig and only to realize that, wow, this wasn't what I originally had in mind. This isn't playing out like I thought it would. Well, then you have to do damage control. So my whole point is, if you stick with your original intent and stay focused on the original goals as to why you're pursuing a career in music, chances are you can avoid some of those awkward situations and those pitfalls that myself and many others have fallen prey to.